Welcome to the video for our classwork for Foundations 2, simplifying expressions with exponents. Start off with, I'm going to work an example for you. I'll work question 1. If you look at our notes from yesterday, the first thing you do is multiply the coefficients. Coefficients are the numbers on the left that are multiplied by the variable. So 6 times 4 is 24. And then I multiply the expressions with the v, the variable. So v to the second times v to the fourth. When I multiply, I add the exponents. So that's v to the sixth. If I wrote it out, I would write 2 v's, and then I would write 4 more v's. I write a total of 6 v's. Okay. Pause the video now. Do problems 2, 4, and 2, 3, and 4, and 5. You'll notice 5, you need to think about how you would complete those sentences. Problem 4 and 2, you want to think about what your exponent actually is. You can say that's an exponent of 1. Okay. Anyway, pause the video, and then I'll come back. You can come back, and I'll show you how to do problem number 8. Okay. Now that you've done problems 1 through 5, doing the same thing now. Problems 6 through 9 are the same problem. It's just that now I have negative numbers. And we have to think back to how we handled our negative numbers. Negative times a negative is a positive. Once again, I multiply my coefficients first. 8 times 6 is 48. Negative times a negative is a positive, so I have a positive 48. And then I have my variable, and I add my exponents. So I'm actually going to do 4 plus negative 3, which is the same as 4 minus 3. 4 minus a positive 3, so I get 1. And actually, I don't even have to write that 1. I can just write 48x. Okay. Try problems 6, 7, and 9. And then complete the sentences in problem 10. Pause the video while you do that, and then I will show you how to do the next problem. Problem number 11. Look at your notes again. The first thing we do is deal with the coefficients. In this case, I divide my coefficients. Coefficients are negative 4 and negative 5. Negative divided by a negative is a positive, so I end up with 4 divided by 5. If I could reduce that, I would, but there's nothing I can divide into 4 and 5. I can divide 4 by 2, but I can't divide 5 by 2. The next thing I do is put my variable, and then when I divide variables with exponents, I end up subtracting the exponents. When I multiplied, I added the exponents. Now that I'm dividing, I subtract the exponents. So I do 2 minus 4. Since 4 is bigger than 2, I get a negative 2. And that is a correct statement, but it doesn't satisfy the instructions which said only positive exponents. So I have to say 4 divided by 5p squared. If you want to think about it this way, if we wrote these out, I would write 4 p's in the denominator, 2 p's in the numerator. I would have 2 left over in the denominator. So both of these are correct statements. This is the one that matches the instructions. Take a look at problems 12, 13, 14, and 15. Pause the video while you do that, and then I will show you problem 16. Okay, now that you've done those problems, problem 16 is a division problem just like problem 11. It's complicated though in the fact that I have a multiplication problem in the numerator. So I'll do the multiplication problem first, and then I'll do the division problem. First thing I do is my coefficients. So 1 times negative 2 gives me negative 2. N to the 4th times n to the 4th gives me n to the 8th. I multiply the coefficients, I add the exponents. And now I'll take care of the coefficients first again. -2 and -4. First of all, that's positive because I have a negative divided by a negative. I can also reduce that fraction. That actually looks just like a regular fraction that we did before. So I can say that is 1 over 2. And then I'll do times n. But I have to do 8 minus a -3 to get my exponents. And I wrote it out that way so you can see we're subtracting a negative. That's the same as adding a positive. That gives me 11. I have n to the 11th power. On some of these others, you're going to end up with a larger exponent in the denominator. That's going to be just like problem 11. You get a negative exponent. You have to change that into a positive exponent. And problem 18 is a little more complicated. You have to multiply the numerator just like we did here, but then you also have to multiply the denominator. In some cases you have to multiply the denominator, but you already have one expression in the numerator. Here you have to multiply the denominator but not the numerator. Okay? And then ultimately fill in the blanks to answer question 20. Thank you.